Welcome back to FPL Banter Podcast with myself, Mopey. We've got Woody.
Hello.
And Sobis.
Hey.
And it's Thursday morning. We have our game week starting tomorrow night, so we thought we'd get in early.
New Year's Eve. Many seasons greetings. Happy New Year and all that.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Bon année.
Sure, FPL is the thing on everyone's mind at the moment.
What are the odds of someone? What are the odds of someone listening to this tomorrow morning when they're hungover, deciding to make some decisions, some FPL decisions? I think that's the best time.
It's the best time. You'll be in bed, be about midday. You'll have nothing else going on. Just listen to FPL.
You know, you might think you won't, but then tomorrow you'll see a few amber flags. You'll read a few reports.
Yeah.
People will say, "Oh, Son's going to get rested." Things like that.
Yeah.
Suddenly,
It'll be reports of players partying late into the nights, like sharing, like girls and cups, and getting COVID.
How many?
Or Martinelli potentially scoring.
Or Martinelli potentially having another shot on goal. Actually, I don't think his shot was even on goal, was it?
No, I actually went over the bar.
Yeah,
and for context,
towards the goal.
This is leading us nicely into the team of the week last week, which was designed by Alex, and it was his wedding gift, and so we gave him free reign, and so. Maybe you can take us through how the team went, Alex.
Throw me on the spot. So I'm getting ready for a lot of abuse from you guys. So I'll start off with the ones that, rightly so, I maybe should have not played. Martinelli.
But to be fair, let's start. I mean, you did do better than the average, and you definitely did better than my team. So.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So the points that we got was 44, and the average points was 37. We had to have a deep bench, as we always try and aim to, and that kind of not saved us, but at least we got some points. There were no non-players that didn't play. There were players that didn't play, so it was all good.
We had 11 on the pitch, and like you say, Dallas came off the bench, so that was a good result.
Yeah, Dallas came off the bench to give us a nice cheeky 12. So should I recap the whole team?
Yeah, quickly.
So we have Schmeichel in goal too. Unfortunately, I chose him over Meslier.
I'm pretty sure I did tell you about the Zaha threat.
I know. You did.
I talked you both out of it. To be fair, I think you both wanted Meslier, and I was like, nah. What's more likely, Crystal Palace scoring or Leeds competing cleanly?
I'm not used to seeing humble Woody. That's not usual.
That is not something I ever associate with him. Yeah. Smug, insufferable. I mean, those are the words that usually come to mind.
Well, it's a new year. It's a new me, turning a page.
Then we have Taylor, who's now amber, who's now orange, unfortunately, because he got injured.
Was an unfortunate pick, because that would have been a cleanie, obviously.
Yeah, then we have Bellerin, 6 points. What are you worried about? Nice cleanie. Walker-Peters, 5 points. Dallas, cheeky 12, coming off the bench. We were quite lucky there, but that was good. I mean, it's good game there by Leeds, 5-0 against West Brom. Maybe a consideration to have a couple more Leeds players in there. I mean, especially attacking ones rather than defending ones. So wing backs.
But they're all attacking ones. Taking shots
name a defending Leeds player. Yeah.
This is true.
Dear.
And then Fernandez obviously showing up as per Ruddy usual. So he's a stellar one. Martinelli, he had a great shot on goal. All right.
Well, it wasn't. It was near goal. It wasn't even on goal.
I know.
It was towards goal.
It was the general direction of the goal.
To be fair, I mean, he had a good game. Like, he was KDB-esque unlucky there in that game.
Oh, stop it!
Played well. Should have got something.
But it's just like more of a slap in the face. The fact that I honestly felt so hard done by, in the sense that. He comes after the 65th minute for Lacazette, who then goes on to score very quickly.
First touch or second touch.
Yeah. And then Mount, Chelsea. Again, Chelsea not really delivering the goods at the moment. Maybe something to worry about, something to think about for you guys who still have Chelsea players in there. Maybe they'll have a resurgence. But I think I would say till mid-January, post the double game week, I don't think they're going to be too successful, I don't think personally, but then depends.
They're a bit flat at the moment, aren't they?
Do you think Lamps is like, hey, Abramovich, could you give me a cheeky spot me 100 mil?
Well, there's a new transfer window, right? I mean, they could bring in. It would be hilarious if they brought in another striker. Poor old Timo.
And then we have. Sorry, go on.
Do you remember in the beginning of the season, Chelsea were the team that was scoring the most goals?
Yeah.
Remember? For the first maybe 6 or 7 weeks,
Yeah.
and everyone was kind of getting on the train, and now suddenly they've gone dry. It's weird, isn't it?
Well, I remember at the start it was goals at both ends. Then they tightened up at the back, and then it was like sort of 2-0, 3-0, and now they've just. Teams always go through that, so they go through a bit of a patch, though they're just a bit meh. And I think Chelsea are going through that. He's going to drop some people, have a bit of a cycle through, give him a kick up the butt, and then they'll come back swinging.
Okay. And then we have Salah, unfortunately, who didn't deliver anything as per usual. He's driving me up the wall. I mean, I got him recently. You look at Mane, you look at Salah, and this is why I've always preferred Mane in general.
Bang on the Mane drum again. Jesus.
No, Mane could have had loads of goals last night. I mean, he was all over it. All over it.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame. But, I mean, I think it's a well-deserved, for Newcastle, I think it was a well-deserved draw. They played really well for once this season. So
I haven't seen the game yet because obviously with the time difference stuff, and I haven't had time to watch the highlights. I'll take your word for it. But
and to be honest, I haven't really been watching many of the Newcastle games that I did last night. And to be honest, Wilson does look good. Like, he is interesting to watch.
He's a great player.
He's very, very good. It's just a shame he plays for a team like Newcastle.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And that's what all the fans are getting up in arms about, because we're just so negative in our play. Even though now this season we do have, granted, there's a lot out with COVID and injuries, but that hasn't been the case all season. And we do still play very negatively when we could actually get forward. Because like I say, Wilson's a great player. Like, he's a good football player as well as a good finisher. But I mean, we've had a bunch of tough fixtures and a lot of injuries, so there's still room for the Wilson train later in the season, I think.
And then we have Wood showing up with 2 points.
Good Wood.
Classic.
Could be a good Wood.
Yeah. Showing up with 2 points. I don't think we're ever going to select him again. And then I think I'm really proud of this. This is probably the jewel in my crown right now. Vardy, 2 points after being captain. So that means he had 1 point.
Yeah, I do. Do you remember what I said? Do you remember what I said last week's pod? Something about Iheanacho probably starting.
Starting.
Yeah, he did say that. But what I will say is that, although I want to take the piss out of you, it was unfortunate in the sense that they got a penalty and missed, and everyone just knows Vardy would have put that away. So, yeah. God. So I mean, he was rested. It's unfortunate, whatever.
Yeah,
I
mean, does that mean that? I mean, moving forward, I think he could be a good player. And then any other games that are kind of noteworthy? Did you guys have any standout performances apart from the Leeds game?
What I would say is that if a player, if you're upset because your players got rested, at least there's a higher chance that they'll play this weekend.
Yeah, but in terms of last game week, I mean, the only result which yielded any sort of real scores was the Leeds West Brom result, which even that was a bit of a freak. And it's one of those games. A little bit like when they played Burnley with the penalty that wasn't a penalty, like that own goal at the start of the game, that kind of thing just destroys a team. The whole game plan, everything we were working for, get to half time 0-0, and after like 17 minutes, whatever, you've scored a shocking own goal. That contributes. I'm not saying Leeds wouldn't have beaten them, but the thrashing that ensued always comes off the back of a stupid mistake like that. So you couldn't even see that coming. But certainly what we were saying in last week's podcast about the games being so close together with the tired legs and stuff, you could see that across every game. As well, I think there were so few goals scored and everything was that the whole week was lethargic.
Well, let me put this to you then, in order to back up your point. Leeds were the only team to score more than one goal in any game this weekend, and there were the most clean sheets this weekend the whole season.
Yeah. It was a pretty dull week, all things considered. which I think I think we were expecting, but certainly we brought up in the pod that it was going to be as such. But also got another kind of close-ish game week for a lot of teams this week, apart from obviously the guys that were rested because of the COVID scares. But then there's a good old cup break. So, guys will get there.
I think one thing to mention, I think to highlight, as we did, I think at the end of the podcast last week, was El Ghazi showing up again for Villa. Do we think that he'll get replaced when Barkley comes back in, or is he going to replace Traore? Which are both good players.
As our boy Wits pointed out, Ben Rama apparently also now transferring over to Villa. add competition for spaces. But yeah,
I'll tell you what, you wouldn't be so smug if Villa bought Benrahma.
Well, honestly, I checked. I was like, hold on, is there been an early loan move I wasn't aware of? Yeah,
Witz is just ahead of the time. Okay, he's just aware. He's got scouts at Villa. He knows who's coming.
I was like, is there another Benrahma? No, it's a good point. I think he might certainly be rotated more, so have less minutes on the pitch. MOTP. Once Barkley's back, trademark. Would our trademark there? Just throw that in there. Yeah, so I don't know. It's a train, but I think we'd probably do. Like, it's a risky one to get on.
And Chilwell delivering with an assist at Chelsea, even though I thought he was injured, but he shows up anyway. Doing the cheeky Mourinho mind games there, Lamps. But
yeah, I think the moral of this season is, even if they say the player has died and like his body has been like his ashes have been spread somewhere, he'll still play.
And he might still play.
So yeah, so it's very hard to tell this season.
But then on the other hand, there's Matip, which was yellow before the game week, and then now has just gone straight to red.
Yeah, and I was just going to bring that up. Like, I tend to not look at the FPL statistics and likelihoods. There's a couple of other websites I use to check for like injury status and stuff. And I stuck with Chilwell because on that website, quotes from Lampard and the training staff were like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be close. It's pretty. It would only miss one game week if that. So I'll stick with him." Whereas the Matip one, same thing. There was no real reports. It was like, "Oh, he's going to be assessed before the game." So I'm like, "Oh." Must only be just like a little cramp or a knock or something, and then he's out for 3 weeks. So, yeah, it's a tricky one this season. Like, going forward as a rule, do you Chilwell it or do you Matip it? Who knows?
Yeah. Right.
I have no answers. Just questions.
Shall we move on to our team of the week then?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So it was a wedding gift for Alex. So what do I get? Why is it my treat? Why is it my treat? Well, why am I being punished?
New Year's Eve, I guess. New Year's Eve gift.
New Year's Eve gift?
Yeah, you're a big romantic, you know that. So we all know that you enjoy the roses on the bed. That's the kind of guy you are. So we figured New Year's Eve would be a big time for you. So we'll give it to you.
The roses on the bed, the chocolates on the pillow,
exactly.
champagne on ice.
Have you done that? Have you already done that? Or is that what you have to nip off early to do?
But he never goes for the expensive chocolates. It'll always be like some Ferrero Rocher that you got a discount from the airport, you know?
Yeah, or just regifting Christmas stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No. Well, thanks, guys.
Merry Christmas, James. My name's not James.
Merry Christmas, Steve. I remember you regifted us a gift, actually, Eric. Remember that when you claim you put the bottle in the bag? It's not the gift; it's just the bag we got from someone else. When actually, really,
categorically, do not remember any of that.
You don't remember that when you came over to our flat? No, you don't remember that? You and Sally for tea, and then
so team of the week. 100 mil budget fits into a wild card, and it's been done exclusively by the Proud Daddy.
Thank you.
So, do you want to take us through it?
Who has COVID? All right. How about I'll name it, and then you pick it apart, and then I'll defend it. So I'll name my defender picks, and then we'll pick them apart. Then we'll do midfield and so on. So,
all right, yeah, all right, let's do it.
Do it that way. All right, so midfield, we're doing a 3-4-3. Sorry, midfield. What am I starting midfield? Defense 3-4-3. I've gone Pope, Bellerin, Saiss, and Loughton starting, and then Dallas and Soufal on the bench. Go.
Right. I'm thinking there's some clean sheet potential there in Pope and Loughton, and there's no doubt that Pope's a good keeper. But the question is, which Fulham will show up? Will it be the Fulham that? I don't know with Fulham. They're hard to predict, and but I think it's safe. I think I can't really fault you on that one, Alex.
And then I'm thinking Saiss. I think we mentioned this pre-podcast against Manchester United. He looked really threatening, to be honest. He looked more threatening than any other player. Yeah, he got so close. I might
get him in my. If I get him in my personal team, he won't play. So I might do that just to screw you up.
Who has him in the draft? Someone's got him in the draft, isn't it? It's Witz. Is it Witz? It might be Witz.
Probably. But whoever has, they should keep a hold of him because he will be delivering, I think, especially against Brighton, who are really horrendous at the moment. And then Bellerin, I think I understand that. West Brom, I mean, after getting thrashed 5-0, will it be one that turns up and are solid as hell at the back, or are they going to be loosey-goosey like they were with Leeds. I don't know.
No. Arsenal are on the resurgence, and it's not one of these resurgences where they win 10-0. It's one of these resurgences where they barely win 1-0 against everyone.
Where they just scrape by.
Yeah, it's a resurgence nonetheless. So I actually think Bellerin's a good chat, and a bit of a Bellerin anecdote for you, Woody, because I know you'd like to take the piss out of his fashion sense. If anyone's unaware, you should Google Bellerin fashion and you'll see a very familiar picture. Well, at least to Woody. Anyway, turns out that picture was taken at Paris Fashion Week, where he walked for Louis Vuitton.
Wow.
I heard about
it. At least it was in France, because that's what I always associate with him in that picture.
Exactly. But no, that's fashion, Woody.
Yeah, it's
that's
fashion. Yeah, the Calais people smugglers. That's fashion. But, yeah. And then Dallas first sub, and then Soufal.
Yeah, I think those are good. I mean, Dallas are playing. I mean, they're playing Spurs. Spurs didn't play, so they'll be kind of threatening, which we will talk about because I can see your midfield and strikers. But Dallas, I think with Leeds, as we've said before, especially with Leeds, as with all teams, they get forward. They're all attacky. You're thinking of more assists rather than clean sheets.
Yeah. I mean, I've been. From, I think, game week 2, I was banging on the Dallas drum, and then when they kept conceding loads.
I love how you said game week 2 instead of game week 1, because that would be.
It wasn't game week 1. Yeah, exactly. That's ridiculous.
It's from game week 1. No. I need to be a little bit realistic.
A bit more credibility.
Let's talk about the other. There's a lot of drums you bang on that you don't bring up as much, like KDB.
No, honestly, I still bang on that drum. There's still points to come, and you will see, and I will laugh. But no, Dallas, I've been a fan of from the start, even when he wasn't getting points, and I kept saying about him, and you guys were like, "Oh, he's crap. He's not getting anything." Now everyone's like, "Oh, Dallas, yeah." Same as Soufal. Again, banging on that one from the start, and then now all of a sudden everyone's got him, and I'm another one of that who I haven't got in this team because we can't afford him is Souček, who I would have if we could afford him. Which I suppose, because we're now a bit later in the season, you might have a bit more than 100 mil. In which case, Souček, I'll come to midfield in a second, but get ahead of myself. And with that in mind as well, I would rather have Tierney than Bellerin, just personal choice. But with the 100 mil budget, I can't afford him, so he's 0.2
more. But why is that? Because from what I see when I watch Arsenal play, I see Bellerin way more attacky than Tierney, or I see him more involved. I don't know why. Maybe I'm.
No, Tierney's pretty good.
Yeah, I just don't think you watch the right highlights.
Yeah.
I don't know. And just a shout out to Saiss as well in particular. I mean, obviously he's good and all that, and Wolves pretty tight at the back, but also Saiss is their main threat from set pieces, and Brighton concede most of their goals from set pieces. So that's why I think he's a particular threat in that game.
And I see in your second goalkeeper is areola, which is the thing around. It's that circle around the nipple, right? That's what an areola is.
Exactly.
But because he's not. Where is he from?
He's French. He's French. They keep on focusing on him, being like, "Oh, he's so good."
Well, and they keep saying French World Cup winner Areola because he was like the third goalkeeper.
Well, he is a World Cup winner in that case.
Yeah, but he didn't actually touch the ball. He got 0 MOTP, but still won a World Cup. There you go. Anyway, I could have done that job. Not even kidding.
Well,
I totally could have done that job.
Yeah, where's your World Cup medal then, Mike?
I can sit on the bench for 2 months or 6 weeks in the summer. Easy. Anywho, yeah, Areola, because I just think there's a good chance of the Burnley-Fulham game being a bore draw. So if Pope is rested, then Areola's not a bad shout.
Okay, I don't want to dwell on defenders too long, but last thing I'm going to mention is Fulham, COVID.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's the whole thing. Yeah, that's the whole thing we're worried about, right?
So I can maybe have a playing goalkeeper as your.
I see. I see what you're saying. Have someone not from that fixture in case the whole fixture gets scrubbed. So okay, yeah, it's a good point. Maybe I'll switch Areola.
They had COVID 3 days ago. So
yeah, right, no, you're right. That's a good point. All right, I'll switch Areola for Johnston. West Brom. Okay. I mean, they'll get a thrashing, but at least
the team that concedes the most goals in the entire.
Okay. He's the only one I can afford. He's the only one that's. All right. Okay. So Areola's 4.5. So again, the whole money in the bank sort of thing. Maybe you could stretch out to Meslier or McCarthy because that'd be 100.1 or 100.2.
Yeah.
But obviously we couldn't do that because we stick to the 100 mil budget. But yeah, no, it's a good point, Eric. Well raised. And actually, I think we did say before the show, we were actually going to mention that with the uncertainty of the times and the late minute cancellations, it looks like City are clear. But as you said, Fulham still, we don't know if they've been cleared or not. So I've actually gone against what we said and try and spread your players around those fixtures. So not too many players from the same sort of fixtures, but it's difficult to predict. But a point well raised. All right, moving on to midfield then. So the 4 starting, I've gone with Zaha, Fernandez, Neto, and Son, with Romeo on the bench, third sub. Go.
Those are solid. Son is a classic. Son has been rested as I mentioned earlier with regards to the previous game week, so he could be in for a shout, even for a captain armband potentially. Even Neto, he's the only one really delivering at the moment on the attacking front. He hasn't delivered recently in the last game weeks.
That looks a lot to me like some filler position there, because Wolves haven't been scoring since Raul Jimenez has been injured. So I just don't know. I saw them play going forward. There wasn't much going on. It was just Adama Traore. So I'd maybe have a little bit of concern about that. But just my opinion.
Well, I'll just like to throw out that brought up the stats here. In that game where Jimenez went off injured in sort of the 12th minute. He's got 13, 2-2, 9, 2-6-3. So I don't know what that average is, but it's somewhere above 5.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably due a haul. Not a haul, but at least a point. And it's against Brighton. They don't have the strongest defense at the moment, so it could be a good one. And then Zaha back on the Zaha train. Eric, how do you feel?
Well, I feel great about the Zaha train. I always have. I think the Zaha train is a beautiful train, and it's one that I wish to be on soon, but can't afford to be right now. I think I've had a lot of heat in the past about Zaha, and everyone's like, "Oh," and then he started getting good, and everyone was like, "Well, I'm going to bring him in game week 13 and so on." So I like Zaha. I think that's great. And by the way, his last goal, which inexplicably got him no bonus points, was incredible. It was a really tight angle, and he banged it in. How easy would it be to miss that? You think of someone like Werner. How many times would he miss that before he scored it? Doesn't even get any recognition. So
or KDB. Don't forget about KDB as well. Missing some.
Yeah, KDB would definitely miss it.
Shut up.
That was a great goal, and
was a great goal.
FPL gods just decided let's give the bonus points to Bednarek, even though he wasn't in that match.
Yeah.
Not that there were probably. I mean, hopefully there won't be people who are thinking of doing Zaha for Grealish, because I still think Grealish is still a better option. But I think,
I think it's the fixture. Right? I think it's the fixture this week.
Yeah, from our end, it's the fixture. But I'm just saying in general, if people are thinking Grealish over Zaha, if you can do it for one game week, if you've got a free transfer you need to use up, I don't know. Zaha could be a consideration rather than Grealish. But
don't forget Villa beat Liverpool 7-1 though.
Yeah, and Man U at home, we know they're a bit rocky, weirdly. So it's an interesting one. We'll see. And Fernandez,
are you talking about Man U, the Premier League contenders? Yeah.
Yeah, second.
Don't even start.
Only 1 point behind now. Game in hand. Seriously, this could be their year.
We're 3 points behind, I think. 3 points behind Liverpool.
Did anyone see this
with
week?
A game in hand, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Klopp was asked about United being. Klopp was asked about United being a point behind, and he said the last thing on his mind is the Premier League table. The last thing.
Wow.
That's the last thing.
Before that.
There's I don't know. I guess his lunch. That's more important.
or perhaps the Division 3 table. That would be further ahead than last.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, move on to your striker. And Romeo. I mean, he's a bit of
Romeo, Yeah, he's a bank, and as I said, if you had some spare cash, then go for someone like Souček.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a filler, but he'll play, and every now and then he comes up with an assist or a belting goal, so you just never know. But he's a banker, just as a third sub. So on to the strikers. 3 up top: Kane, Vardy, and DCL.
Oof. I mean, that's a good, sexy, solid lineup, isn't it? Really.
Good
you
fixtures.
See, I don't like this team because this team's hard to take the piss out of. You haven't given us much.
Martinelli? Yeah. You haven't given us a Martinelli. No. Where's your Martinelli, mate?
Yeah. As Neto and Zaha's as punty as it gets. But
I think there has to be at least 3 players that are in there just for entertainment value.
Areola's one of them, I guess.
Yeah. I can find one and throw one in there. I can get a Benteke or something,
Nah, stop it. Don't be mental, mate.
You watch him. He'll get a hat-trick now.
So yeah, Vardy, Newcastle. Even though they played well yesterday, they might be a little bit hungover from that because they tried so hard. They played so well. So Vardy could find a way in there. Will he start though? He will start.
Yeah, I think
because he was
he'll
rested.
start because he was rested. The issue I see more is DCL, just because he seems to have lost form a little bit. I'm not saying he can't get on the score sheet. He can, but I think it's more that maybe Bamford looks better.
Yeah, it's a tough game though, Spurs.
Yeah, but they will score. That's the thing. It is true.
And he's on penalties now, apparently.
Yeah.
Who, Bammy? Old Bammy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if Bamford outscores DCL this week, he can give me a hard time, but I'm sticking with him.
Good.
Okay.
Stick to your guns. And then Kane, obviously, the big K.
Big K with a little C. He's my little C this week.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a good team. I think it's a solid team. Not enough, as we've said before, not enough punts, but I think Zaha and Neto, I think, are good enough, as you said. And wish you all the best, mate. Hope you don't mess it all up.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Good luck.
I'll be really livid if this team like massively outstrips my personal team because I'd be like, I should have played a wild card.
All right, captains.
Yeah, Kane.
So,
yeah, Captain Kane.
Had we discussed it?
No, I'm picking. It's my team.
All right. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Captain Kane and Vicey Fernandez.
I don't know why, but Captain Kane's not a bad shot. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like a Captain Son. I don't know why. It's calling me.
Oh, why not go? Why not Zaha? How do you not feel about Zaha against Sheffield United?
You know what I'm feeling? I'm feeling erratic Meilier and diving penalty-seeking Kane coming together. Kane getting the penalty and burying it. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. What about a Meilier save? No, not feeling it.
Nah.
Harry Kane missing from 12 yards. What have you been smoking?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Golden Boot.
No, I think that's a solid
Boot,
captain.
World Cup Golden Boot winner from the spot, Harry Kane.
Is that a thing? Golden Boot from the spot?
Well, no, as in I think he scored all of his goals from the penalty spot. I think he actually scored from open play, did he? When he got the Golden Boot, maybe he got one from open play. Anyway, I digress.
Okay. All right then. Well, so that is the team. So we can assess that next week, and we'll be sure to give Woody a lot of trouble about that. See how I said trouble there, not something else?
Yeah, you're learning.
I'm learning. Okay, and so we'll just do a couple of random picks and just see what the guy's opinion is. So just throwing this out there, and we've kind of touched on it, but how about El Ghazi for this week?
Mm-hmm.
Is he a buy?
But I think we touched upon that, and I'm worried about rotation with Barkley back. I don't know if Barkley is 100% back.
16.
Yeah, is he back? Is he still a bit feeling his hammy?
Well, he's yellow still.
Yeah,
but it's 5 goals in the past. 6 goals in the past 5 games. Is it?
No, it's 5 and 5.
5.
Yeah, which I think it's a streak that's hard to maintain.
Yeah, but the thing is, we don't know what's going on, right? Like, it's possible that the manager is saying to him, play forward. You know, you are now kind of our sort of backup striker. Like, we just see it as a midfielder getting lucky, but maybe it's not. Maybe he's been told to take more forward positions. So, you know, like with those kind of stats, you kind of think there must be more to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Rashford.
Yeah, well, honestly, when so I started the team with Salah and then a bench filler up front, and I almost went with Rashford instead of Neto, or I would have instead of Kane, I suppose. But I just thought it was a bit too much United. But it was on the cusp. Like that's a good shout. He's in form. Yeah, no, I like
the whole
Rashford.
country loves him as well. I mean, like, you know, not just the Manchester United supporters. Like the Queen is after him, and everyone. You know.
Yeah, he'll be knighted. He'll be Sir Marcus pretty soon.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he will be.
I was surprised he wasn't today. Actually, Lewis Hamilton got one. And Marcus didn't.
Imagine that around the paddock being like Sir Lewis. Hello, Sir Lewis. God, it'd be so weird, wouldn't it? At least wait till he finishes his career. So like, not everybody like Bottas at the team briefing next season. Hello, Sir Lewis. Good to see you. Like, oh my God.
Can I throw some names?
Go for it.
Arsenal themed, obviously. We got Aubameyang, Saka, Lacazette.
Saka's got a knock, so risky.
Have you not heard our podcast today about knocks and about lies?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Lacazette, again, a bit sort of rotatey. Like he only came on, and then Aubameyang, he just ain't in form. So I mean, it's punty. I mean, they've got to come back into form at some point, and it's a good fixture to do it.
Just like Sheffield United,
Yeah. Why? What are you saying?
Because I think a few weeks back you said Sheffield United, their luck's got to change one day, and it still hasn't.
Right, yeah. No, still hasn't. Yeah, they're going to start scoring soon. Still waiting. Yeah, no, you're right. Checking my other injury website. So Saka potential return is on the 2nd with a 50% likelihood he'll come back. He was limping. He took a strong challenge, but hopefully he will be okay. So not as risky.
Eric, do you have any more?
Secretive about this other website.
Yeah. Not saying the source, nothing.
Well, I'm not sure I'm allowed to.
Okay. Yeah, I've got one. Where is he? Alioski.
Aha! I got him in the draft. It was a spur of the moment thing, and I'm happy I did. But if you look at
4.5.
Yeah, he's good points. He's good price. But if you look at his history with regards to his points, they're not great. I mean, so he got 12 points, obviously, this last game week. But apart from that, I'm looking at more his goal score. So he's scored 2 goals, no assists whatsoever, and a couple of cleanies.
He's a defender. I mean, you've been a bit harsh here.
No, I'm being really harsh. I know, I agreed. But it's not every day that you're going to have 5-0 against West Brom. I don't know. Maybe you will.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one.
I mean, it's a punt at the 4.5 end. It's a train that you could get on early because maybe he'll find some form and keep his place and go from strength to strength. So yeah, if you need a 4.5 filler, yeah, why not? It could be another Sufal.
Okay, how about a 4.4 filler in Rob Holding?
Yeah,
he's nailed. Yeah, but the resurgence. Come on, are you not following?
Yeah, but you went. Okay, fine. Maybe
it's going to be 1-0s everywhere these days.
Is he nailed, or is there still a bit of rotation at the back? I mean,
he's nailed.
He's been nailed for a while. To be fair, he has been nailed for a while. Yeah. But your golden rule: never buy an Arsenal defender.
Oh yeah. No, it's not for me. It's just for the other mugs that are out there.
He's just trying to sell everyone up the river.
Yeah.
No, not for me. And I think there is still a bit of rotation to be had at the back at Arsenal.
And every week we like to inform Woody of players that are more points than KDB, his favorite player of the season, who's been unlucky up to now. So this week, Meslier has the same amount of points, 4.6 versus 11.7 as KDB, and he actually ranks above. For some reason, FPL have put him above in the table. And it doesn't seem to be an alphabetic thing. But anyway, then there's obviously Dallas, who's just come above. Yeah, another defender who's 4.8 this time rather than 11.7. So that's pretty good. And Werner is close. He's only 2 points ahead, or behind. So that means that if Werner, shoots 100 more times and gets 1 on target, he might actually go above.
I mean, when you put it like this, I do think, what the hell am I doing? But it also, for me, it just sort of there's just more points in him to come. That's all I can say, and I want to be there when he gets them.
I mean, if you had a Bednarek, a Meslier, and a Dallas since the beginning of the season, you'd have 3 times as many points as KDB for the same price.
All right,
same price.
All right, don't get me wrong. Like, looking back now, because I've got a bit of a philosophy this season and stuff that I'm sticking to, and basically I went with KDB and a 6 million striker and stuck with it. The strikers changed around a bit, but I did that because I didn't think Bamford. I didn't know enough about him to go with Salah and Bamford and stick with them, which now in hindsight, what the hell was I thinking? I mean, that would have been, imagine if I'd had, with the same philosophy that I'm playing, instead of KDB, I had Salah, and instead of Watkins, I'd had Bamford. It'd be an embarrassment. I'd be so far
Imagine
out.
if I was top of the league, though.
No, but you know what I'm saying? In hindsight, it was a poor choice, but I'm sticking with it. I have to. I've come too far. I can't get off the train now.
Okay. Well, is that it? Any more punts?
No, I think that's a good point to wrap up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the game week starts on Friday evening, so that's tomorrow evening if you're listening in the UK. So don't miss it. And once again, deep bench.
Yes,
Never know
yeah.
what's going to happen.
Deep bench and
In spite of a deep bench this week, I think most people were burnt. So
Mhm.
if you didn't have a deep bench, you might have been burnt even stronger. So
Yeah.
okay. Well, anyway, we'll be back next week. There'll be a bit of a break, and we'll be there for the blank game week. So until then, very good luck.
All right,
Right,
bye.
cheers, bye. Bye.